Hi everybody. In this tutorial we are going to discuss how to use SPSS to run descriptive statistics. Specifically we're going to look at how to use SPSS to run histograms and box plots, and also how to use SPSS to calculate the mean and the standard deviation of the variables in your data set. So just as a quick reminder, descriptive statistics are ways of describing the data set. And they're basically ways of getting to know your data, which is always a good practice in statistics and in research methods. Before you run more advanced statistical tests, you always want to have a good sense of what your data actually looks like. You want to have a good sense of the patterns that are there, and you want to have a good sense of whether or not there's any kind of unusual scores or any outliers or things like that. So histograms, looking at the means, the standard deviations, these are all good ways of doing that. Before we get into the actual running of the descriptive statistics, let's take a quick refresher on the SPSS environment. So in SPSS, when you open up a data file, keep in mind that you're always going to have two files open. The data set that you're looking at here, and then also that output file. SPSS always opens up an output file. We did not really use this in tutorial number 1 because we did not ask SPSS to actually calculate anything, but here we will, and all of that output is going to be printed here. Back to the data set, keep in mind that you can view the data set in two different ways. You can look at the actual raw data. When we look here, we see that we have 43 different rows, which suggests that we have data on 43 different people. You can also look at the variable view, which gives you a good sense of the actual variables in the study. So here we see 8 different variables: number, sex, age, and then extroversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, neuroticism, and openness. So before we actually calculate any statistics, let's just make sure we're on the same page with the data set here. We can look at the label to get a better description of what number is referring to. And number is basically referring to the participant number. It's pretty common practice in research to assign participants a ID number as opposed to using their name, for instance, when it comes to keeping track of their data. So here we have participant number. Sex and age are pretty straightforward. You'll notice that those are nominal or categorical variables, which would suggest that the numbers that we're using for sex and age are actually standing for something else. And in fact, if we look at the values and click in the rightmost portion of those cells, we can see that for sex, the 1s stand for male, the 2s stand for female. In the case of age, we can see that 1, 2, 3, 4 stands for 18 or younger, 19, 20, or 21 or older. So again, those are categorical variables. The numbers for sex and age stand for something else. Then we have these 5 variables here, which may or may not be familiar to you, but these are the Big 5 personality variables. And the Big 5 is a very well-known measure of personality. It's probably the most commonly used measure that's out there right now. And the idea is if you know where people stand on these 5 variables, then you have a good sense of their overall personality. All these variables are measured on a 1 to 5 scale. Extroversion refers to how socially outgoing people are. Agreeableness refers to how friendly or warm people are. Conscientiousness refers to things like self-control, having self-control and being disciplined. Neuroticism implies anxiety and also kind of like emotional instability. And last, openness refers to curiosity or being open to new experiences. So again, the idea is that scores on these 5 variables tell us a lot about somebody's personality. So back to the data view, we can see now that what we have here is the data on 43 different people. If we scroll down, we see we have 43 rows. We have the sex, the age of each participant, and then also their score on each of those 5 personality variables. So with that said, let's start looking at the descriptive statistics, starting with the histogram. There's different ways that you can tell SPSS to do things. You can type in computer code, which we are not going to do at all in this course. Much more simply, you can use the pull-down menus, which are the menus at the top of the screen, to give SPSS instructions. So if we want to run a histogram, we would go first to graphs, and then we would actually go to this last selection, legacy dialogues. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but that is where the histograms are located. So again, graphs, legacy dialogues, and then I'm going to select histogram here. Now let's say we want to conduct a histogram on extroversion. Again, the idea of a histogram is it's going to help us make sense of the data visually. If we just look at our raw data, we can see all of our extroversion scores, but it's hard to tell a clear pattern. Instead, we'll use a histogram. Now, when we went to graphs, legacy dialogues, histogram, this box popped up. That's how SPSS tends to work. You go to the pull-downs, you select something, a pop-up box comes up, and you tell SPSS the variables that you need, and then it'll run the analysis. So if we want a histogram on extroversion, we're simply going to take extroversion, put it into that variable box, and click OK. It's going to process for a second, and then in our output file, we're going to get the histogram that we requested. There's also some kind of computer language here. You can ignore that. The histogram itself is right here. And like we discussed in class, on the x-axis you have the variable itself, scores ranging from low to high. On the y-axis you have the frequency, or basically the number of participants scoring at each extroversion level. Now SPSS uses some default settings to choose how many bars to present. That's something you can toggle with, but we're not going to worry about that because the default is usually a pretty sensible option. So what we see here is we have different bars reflecting the different extroversion scores. And really quickly we can get a good sense of what the data looks like. We can see, for instance, that scores between 3.5 and 4 are the most common in this data set. That's the highest bar, it has the highest frequency, that's the most common result. We can also see that there are very few people who score below a 2. Very few people between that 1 and 2, the very low bars. So right away we get a good sense of what the data looks like. We know the most common score. We know that there don't tend to be that many extremely low scores. We can see overall that the distribution is kind of shifted towards higher scores. In other words, there's a lot more 4s and 5 area scores than there are 1s and 2s. And again, the most common score is higher than a 3, which would be the mathematical midpoint between 1 and 5. So just by looking at the histogram, we get a pretty good sense of how scores fall in this variable. We would also see if there were any outliers. In other words, if we had a really extreme score, we could see that here. We don't because all the scores range from 1 to 5, so there's nothing that's I would consider to be an outlier. So again, the histogram, a very good way of getting a quick look at the data set. If we want to move on and look at a box plot, which is essentially another way of looking at how the scores fall in a variable, we can do that too. You can always access the pull-down menus from the output file, or you can go back to the data file and access them there as well. So, back in the data file, if we go to Graphs, Legacy Dialogues again, and this time we select Box Plot instead of Histogram, we get to this option here. Most typically we're going to want what's called a simple box plot, but we're actually going to want to change this option here. We're going to want summaries of separate variables. We then can click Define, and then we can take our variable extroversion and put it into this first box. So it says boxes represent. We want extroversion, so I'll put that in there. We can then click OK, and SPSS is going to go back to the output file and give us our box plot. One thing to point out is that SPSS keeps like a running tab of everything that you've done in the output file. Some of it seems kind of irrelevant. It is the computer code. If you don't want to see that, you can just click it, click delete. If you make a mistake or you no longer want to see, for instance, your histogram, again, you can just select it, hit delete, and it's gone. Anyway, looking at our box plot, this is another way of looking at scores for our variable. We're looking at extroversion. Scores range from a low possibility of 1 to a high possibility of 5. This is our box diagram. And basically what it reflects is the lowest score is here. So we can see that the lowest score in our data set is a bit above a 1. The highest score is here. We can see that that's a little bit below a 5. And then what you also have in the box itself is the 25th percentile, the 50th percentile, and the 75th percentile. So this gives us a good way of looking at how scores are kind of spread out amongst the possible values. We can see the same thing that we picked up from the histogram, that scores tend to be on the higher side of the possible values. In other words, the vast majority of the scores are above a 3, which would be the mathematical midpoint. You just have most of the scores in that like 3 to 4 range. Similar to what we saw in the histogram, the scores tend to be on the higher end. So using the histogram, using the box plot, two different ways to achieve the same goal, visualizing our data, getting a good sense of what it looks like. Similarly to the histogram, if we had an outlier, the box plot would pick that up. The way that it shows it, you actually sometimes will have a dot that is not connected to the rest of the box plot, and that depicts that you have a score that is very extreme in relation to the other scores. So this is another way to pick up on those outliers. So that is how you do histograms and box plots. Let's take a moment to talk about how we would conduct and run a look at the means or the standard deviations of our variables. I'm going back to the data set. And again, you see our raw data here. A lot of different data here for the different people. Obviously, we want a quick way of kind of summarizing that. The graphs were helpful. The mean, standard deviation, helpful as well. To get descriptive statistics like that, we can go to Analyze, and then we can choose Descriptive Statistics, and then we can choose Descriptives again. So here, it's asking what variables do we want, to look at the descriptives for. We'll just go with extroversion again. We can put extroversion in the box. Then we can choose options. And if you choose options, you can select which statistics you want to see. So the default is to give the mean, the standard deviation, the minimum, and the maximum. So that's fine for what we're doing right now. If you wanted the variance, you could click that. If you want something else, you could click that as well. But for us, this is fine. We will then click Continue, and we can click OK. And there you have it. You have a little box down here. It shows your variable. The N tells you how many participants' scores you're looking at, in this case 43. And then you have each of the statistics you asked for. We asked for the minimum, the maximum, the mean, and the standard deviation, so that is what we have. The minimum and the maximum are actually things that we could pretty much tell from the box plot. The mean is calculated here for us, so the mean score is 3.44. The standard deviation is 0.85. So that is a way that we can use SPSS to get those descriptive statistics. Really quick, I just wanted to show you that you could go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and to Explore. This is a different way of getting the descriptives. Here I could put extroversion in the box, choose statistics, and then click which statistics I want. Descriptives is the default. Click Continue, click OK, and now it gives you the similar statistics that we've already seen. We have the mean, we have the standard deviation, but it also gives you, for instance, the median. So this is a different way of getting the same information plus a little bit more.